What's up, dudes and dudettes? My name's Scythe, and today it's gonna be another one of these vlog type video things. I'm actually throwing this one together with a bit of a lower resolution and stuff like that. It's not gonna be as fancy, mostly because I want to cut down my production time for these types of videos, because it's more about the information rather than watching the video and stuff like that. Grats to Undead Breeze for getting a karaoke. You probably hear it in my voice and stuff right now. I'm actually trying to be very careful. I've got a whopping bad headache, and I'm actually extremely tired right now. I just spent like these past couple days behind the scenes, like all of this bumping up to 2K has been a bit of a problem. Only over the past couple of days, I've actually been losing quite a bit of sleep over this, and I guess it kind of just all hit me at once, because today I'm starting to feel very sick. So as I'm getting my daily right here, I'll just start completing dungeons because it's a bit of a habit for me. Couple things I wanted to talk about, but first I wanted to mention that as I bumped up to this higher quality and stuff like that, you may have noticed it in some of the videos that I've already put up at the higher clip quality, but I don't really think it's gonna be that noticeable because the game audio is usually very quiet anyway. But more so with Portal Knights, I ended up recording a couple episodes of that series already, and I've just been in the process of trying to get those episodes finished when I ran into variable frame rate issues with Shadowplay. I didn't know that they actually had that. So what this means for people that don't really know anything about like editing and stuff like that is pretty much while I'm recording this video right now, the frame rate is going to be going up and down a little bit, and what that means is that in Adobe, which is what I use for all my editing and stuff like that, it can't handle variable frame rate because it's a professional software. It is not intended for using any type of software or hardware that is going to record at an inconsistent frame rate clip, right? So what this means is that the audio, the game audio and the game video are going to slowly start going more and more out of sync as we are going further and further into the video, right? So I've had this issue with Bandicam, but Bandicam does let you change the frame rate to a constant frame rate with the recording. Resolve the issue for a lot of the games that I play, but not really all of them. The Lego games are especially crazy and terrible for editing in Bandicam, but it's been a long time since we did a Lego game. However, there is that new Lego Star Wars game coming soon, and I definitely want to do a series on that when it comes out, because it actually looks hilarious. It looks funnier than the movie. But anyway, this whole Shadowplay thing has been kind of giving me a bit of a runaround, because I ended up using it to record the first episode of Portal Knights, which I'm hoping to get sometime out this week. But maybe we'll see what happens. I'm dealing with lots of technical difficulties. And then I noticed the variable frame rate issue, did a little bit of research, found out that, oh, this Shadowplay has variations in the frame rate as well. So I ended up going back to Bandicam, and then I recorded 2 more episodes of Portal Knight. Turns out that even with the constant frame rate, it's a lot worse. Like, the audio sync issues are a lot worse with the Bandicam footage I recorded, because Portal Knights is, I guess as far as recording is concerned, like the gameplay plays extremely tight, but with all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, it's actually very difficult to record steadily. So needless to say, I spent like an entire sleepless day of just trying to sort this issue out, and I mean, I'm so exhausted right now as I'm recording this, but I am going to be in high spirits tomorrow. Hopefully I just start feeling better, because I feel very sick right now is the big thing. So I'm gonna go to sleep as soon as I'm done recording this, and then I'll put this up in a day or two just to kind of clue everybody in on everything. But anyway, I ended up finding a very simple solution, albeit a little bit difficult for me. Like, I didn't really want to get in the habit of this, but I'm gonna have to be running pretty much every single video, this one included. I'm gonna be running it through Handbrake. Actually, this one I probably won't do it, because I don't care if the game goes out of sync with the audio, because this is more about the information anyway. I might even just disable the audio, but the whole point is that from now on, I'm gonna have to use a Handbrake to transcode my videos or encode or deinterlace, whatever it's called. I don't even care right now. But I use Handbrake to pretty much convert my video file into being constant frame rate, and I just tested it 2 seconds ago. It took about 7 minutes for me to convert a 6 gigabyte video, which was 13 minutes for 6 gigs. So, you know, pretty big file types that I'm dealing with this 2K resolution stuff. However, this video is not gonna be 2K, and I don't care because it's a vlog video anyway. But anyway, 7 minutes. So like, that's the thing you gotta consider is I look at all of my content in the long term. So that's 7 minutes processing time, production time, I mean, that I'm going to apply to every single one of my videos. And that was just a 13-minute clip. Some videos are longer, some videos are shorter, whatever. But one of the other big advantages of Handbrake that lots of people swear by, I never used it because I didn't really care to get into it up until this point, because now it's actually required of me to get into it. And it actually converted my 6 gigabyte file into a 2 gigabyte file. And as far as I can see, like visually, just comparing a side-by-side of the footage, doesn't seem like there was any loss to the footage's quality despite the file size going down. This is one of the biggest reasons why so many YouTubers, especially starting out, will actually use Handbrake to bring down their file size. Now, the real test, of course, like, I still haven't tested it out. The real test is going to be once I end up editing it and rendering it and encoding it through Adobe, because that means that the video file is going to lose a little bit more quality. Handbrake does dither the quality a little bit, but because we're dealing with gameplay and stuff like this, I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. But the real test is going to be once I actually get it all done already, and then I actually get it on YouTube. Is it going to look just as good on YouTube? So I'm not using this video as a test or anything like that, because like I said, I'm just exhausted. I want to go to bed. A couple other things too that I just want to talk about real quick here is one of the ones that lots of people I'm sure are wondering about, like the Steam messages and stuff like that. I still see all of your Steam messages. I kind of talked about this briefly. Well, not briefly. I talked about this in my first vlog video of these. And I'm just not replying to anybody on Steam anymore, because the Steam comments ended up getting just as bad as my YouTube comments and Trove comments. Now, Trove, I will reply to everybody, and even on Steam, I'll reply to people if you end up joining the Steam group chat. Even then, I'm not going to be replying all the time, because it's like, you know, I'm busy, I'm doing stuff. I work like 24/7 at this whole YouTube thing, and I'm just saying that I still see the comments from time to time, but in general, I'm just not replying to Steam comments. Another thing too, just as a side thing that I kind of just realized is, if you're ever recording with green screen, you can go ahead and get yourself some studio lights. I got my hands on some studio lights, but don't make the mistake that I did for such a long time, where I was actually using like really powerful light bulbs that are mostly meant for photos, not for videos, because I'm sitting on the green screen like for such a long time. I was getting so sick, man, like physically, like it was affecting me like so much. I felt so drained, and I recently ended up finally, just, I don't know why it took me so long to do this, but I changed the light bulbs that I was using to a much lower, like, it's much calmer, it's much dimmer, but it still ends up getting the same results with the green screen. Maybe it's a little bit less because the background isn't as lit up like the green screen for the chroma keying, but I could care less, because I was legit like considering getting rid of the green screen just for my health purposes. But now that I've got the dimmer lights, it's just so much better. So I just wanted to say that and just get that out there. The other things too that I just want to mention briefly as well is I know that since the last patch, a lot of people have been having issues getting Trove to start up and stuff like that, myself included. That's one of the big reasons why you probably haven't seen me on Trove these past couple days, because I pretty much am spending like hours of my time waiting to log in, and then I just log in, get my daily, and I just get out because it's like so unstable and so crashy, right? Now, here's what you end up doing. This is what I ended up doing. Now I am actually having no issues with Trove again, and it's always a good idea to generally do this with most online games and software and stuff, is uninstall Trove, uninstall Glyph. If you know anything about Minecraft, you will know to go into your app data and roaming and stuff. Otherwise, you should look that up, because you can end up deleting some stuff that you do not want to delete. It will mess Windows up for good, son. So go into your app data, your roaming, and then you'll find a Trove folder. Delete that as well, because then it kind of forces a general, like, it gets rid of all your Trove settings, which means it can leave like artifacts of old code and stuff like that. So I just did a fresh install, and I'm noticing that a couple of my settings are not really set up just yet. Like, I keep having to change like the audio and the screen size and all the graphics and everything like that all over again. But pleasantly surprised that the game has barely ended up crashing for me, and I've also been able to log in no problem. So I just wanted to point that out. The last thing that I do want to talk about, I know this video is getting a bit lengthy. I want to, in the future, try to get these blog videos to be maybe 5 to 10 minutes in length, 15 at the max, not really like the 20 to 30 minute thing, unless there's some big stuff that we got to talk about. And the bulk of today's video was just talking about the variable frame rate stuff. So the other thing too that I wanted to talk about, this is another thing that's Trove related, is the Mantle of Power patch that everyone's kind of been waiting for. If you don't know, this is going to boost level cap to 30. It's going to add new, I was going to say biomes, but it's not biomes. It's new portals that mess with current generation of biomes. So we could actually be in this undead area right here, and it would be floating islands. So it's very, very cool stuff. Adds a bunch of new adventure content, kind of. The other thing too they've mentioned recently is, I forget what the gear is called, like the gear type, but it's a gear type above Radiant. So fingers crossed it's not going to cost us like 20 pentas to end up getting that gear, and it's going to be something to do with the new gem system that they're going to be implementing. The short answer of gems is that it's going to be like socketed items from Diablo, from what I hear. I think that's how we're going to end up getting that above Radiant gear, is by using the gems. I'm not sure. The other thing it's supposed to be adding is, of course, augmenting your abilities and changing the way that they kind of play a little bit. It's now, I want to stress this, it's not going to be adding a bunch of new abilities. We're not going to be like, oh, I can go on my, Ice Sage and put a gem in, and suddenly I have Ice Breath where I'm freezing all the enemies around me and stuff like that. No, it's not going to be anything cool like that. It's just going to be changing and augmenting the current abilities. So our right click attack, maybe we'll make it so that I don't know if this is actually it, but I'm just saying as an example, maybe we'll make it so that the plant doesn't have any time to grow and it just is instant at the cost of something else. I think that's more what the gems are going to end up doing. But anyway, I just wanted to point out that there was a recent article on MMORPG.com talking about how the Mantle of Power is only weeks away, which that combined with a bunch of other information that me and some of the other heavy hitters like Joe and SCYTHE and stuff have gathered behind the scenes from streams and just blogs and info and stuff like that, turns out that despite this Mantle of Power being advertised at the beginning of the year, then getting pushed back to February, now it doesn't even look like it's going to come out in March, if not late March, maybe the month after. But honestly, don't hold your breath anymore, everybody. It's kind of gotten to that point where there is no set date. They haven't even really talked about it yet. So they also keep piling on new content for this one big patch rather than like just having the content come out in little patches. That's kind of why these recent patches have seemed so empty. But a lot of stuff they're doing behind the scenes as well. They're going to be removing a lot of the old player names and deleting a lot of old accounts. So hopefully this is going to make the game a little bit more stable, because I can't stand the fact that they don't like clear their cache, and get rid of all the old accounts that are dead. watch the player base drop down to like 70,000 or something. But anyways, I just wanted to clue everybody in that it's probably not going to be coming out anytime soon. I could ramble about it more, but I'm actually going to go hang out with Joe a little bit, and then I'm going to head to bed. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. You know, all your support and everything like that is always appreciated. I love you all to death. This is absolutely amazing. I do still very much love my job. I really, really do. But my goodness, it like, oh, if you're going to get into YouTube, like, the amount of work that you end up putting into this, if you're taking it seriously, is more than any other job, like straight up. And I'm just saying that in the most positive way possible, because I do very much love what I do. I feel very gratified when I end up resolving these types of issues, like with the variable frame rate. Because a long time ago, I ran into the variable frame rate, but I didn't know what it was because I ran into it with the Lego games, like I said. But now that I kind of know what it is, it was easier for me to find a solution. Although I did end up still spending all day trying to find a solution, because I found out the hard way that Adobe is one of the only video editing software that doesn't handle variable frame rate. Sony Vegas actually handles it just fine. But after doing a ton of research and doing a little bit of a trial run with Vegas, it's like, yeah, I really do not want to learn a different editing software, especially as I've already been using Adobe for like a couple years now. And I know all of my settings. I know all the hotkeys. I know, like, it took me way too long to get to where I am right now for me to start using a different editing software just to avoid the issue with the sound sync. So unfortunately, I have to resort to other means, and hopefully it's going to still have the same results in the video quality that we've stepped up to, because this whole 2K thing, 2K to 4K, this is actually extremely new to most software. So there's not many people talking about solutions to these specific problems with this higher quality resolution, because most of the info that you're going to find online is just like, usually it's like YouTubers that are just starting out, but they have like the perfect algorithm to show up in searches despite the video only having like 1,000 views or something, you know? But anyway, that's it. I'm rambling now. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Sayonara and stay epic as always.